let anyone in.
All in all, how many in attendance actually at the moment? Should I answer?
Orang about yesterday coming.
Already?
Not yet. No. We'll slowly come in.
Hello. We have half the participants in the waiting room right now. So do you want to allow them in or wait another few minutes to see the rest will join or not?
Can wait. Sit down.
Yeah.
Or we wait
Depends
another
how
2
many.
minutes
Yeah, we give
to
them few more minutes maybe.
give them a few more minutes lah, okay? Dato, hi everybody. We will start now. I'll let everybody into the room first, okay? The latecomers will just join as and when the presentation goes on lah. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, we'll start now. I
Yeah.
will prompt you lah. I will make the introduction and then Dato, we'll play the video first and then after the video, Dato will be your opening remark lah. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time in joining us today for the market updates of Bintulu Port Holdings Berhad in conjunction with the recent financial result announcement. My name is Ashley and I'll be your moderator for today. Before the briefing starts, a gentle reminder, please keep yourself muted throughout the session to avoid any background disturbances. So with us today, we have Dato Muhammad Medan bin Abdullah, the Group Chief Executive Officer, Madam Diana Luna, the Group Chief Financial Officer, Encik Mat Saleh bin Muhammad Adli, the Chief Operating Officer of BPSB, Encik Aizam bin Ismail, the Chief Operating Officer for SIPSB, and Madam Esther Lu, the Acting General Manager of Group Corporate Planning Development. Also behind the scenes, we have Encik Wan Muhammad Zaidi bin Wan Kadir, the Acting Chief Operating Officer of BBSB. And we have also Encik Abdani, the General Manager of HSE, and Puan Dayang Faiza binti Awang Bujang, the General Manager of Group Legal Compliance and Integrity. So we'll begin by playing a corporate video, followed by an opening remark from Dato Medan. So let's play the corporate video first. Can we play the corporate video first?
We turn up at work every day, knowing that with us around, all the cargoes are handled efficiently. And we know we must do this not only using our hands and minds, but with our hearts and soul. You see, we are such a unique gateway for Borneo. We are located along the main sea route, linking East and West Asia and beyond. Very importantly, we are positioned to handle some of Malaysia's most prized export commodities. And we are also the entry point for imported raw materials and goods for Sarawak and Borneo. Every time when the LNG vessels enters our port, our team kicks into action. There's never a relaxed moment, as we know we must get the LNG loaded before the vessel sets sail again. And we all know we must maintain the highest level of safety, as there's no room for error. We are proud to say that shipment after shipment, we have delivered and delivered well every single time. Over here at Bintulu International Container Terminal, BICT, we know someone at the other side of the world is waiting for his precious cargo. At the same time, we also know someone here in Sarawak is eagerly awaiting his imports. It is therefore crucial for us to work as a team at all levels to ensure timely delivery. With Sarawak's vast and expanding oil palm plantations, we play our humble role in ensuring this precious liquid is safely loaded onto the vessels destined for the world market. Today, B-Port Bulkers is one of the largest palm oil bulking facilities in the region. Sarawak is blessed with abundant water resource and in turn produces clean renewable energy. The Samalaju Industrial Park is home to aluminium and manganese ferroalloys smelters, polysilicon, and many more energy-intensive industries with investors from all around the world. Samalaju Port is our latest effort in providing a diversified range of specialized port services. We are strategically located right next to this industrial park. Every day, the port helps these mega factories bring in their raw materials and, very importantly, help them to export their value-added products to the rest of the world. Sarawak is blessed with such pristine nature that we all have the responsibility to protect and conserve. The port is no exception. In everything that we do, we have the surrounding environment in mind and high on our priority list. We believe port operation and the preservation of surrounding environment can coexist, and we go out of our ways to achieve this. In our business, it's about trust, commitment, and readiness to serve. We value our clients' trust on us. We are committed to deliver at all levels. We are ever ready to serve and to take on new challenges.
Thank you for the video. All right, now I would like to invite Datuk Medan to provide an opening remark. Datuk, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Ashley, our moderator. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, salam Ibu Pertiwiku, and a very good morning to all. Madam Diana, the Group CFO, Chimat Saleh, COO of Bintulu Port Sdn Berhad, Tizam, COO of SIP SB atau Samalaju Industrial Port Sdn Berhad, Ciwan Zaidi, Acting Chief Operating Officer, Byport Bicos Sdn Berhad, my management team, and of course our esteemed analysts from the various fund houses present here this morning. Welcome to the virtual briefing of Bintulu Port Holding Berhad's Group Q2 2022 financial results. Our purpose here today is to reintroduce Bintulu Port Holding Berhad Group to our valued guests and to inform on the financial performance of the group for Q2 2022. Moving ahead, my team has prepared an informative presentation deck for all of you. So on that note, let's begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Datuk, for that. So the management team, led by Madam Esther, the Acting General Manager of Group Corporate Planning Development, will first provide a brief presentation, then followed by Madam Diana, the Group CFO, to cover the overview of the group financials. Then after that, the Q&A session will follow. So what happens in the Q&A session is you may type out your questions under the chat function as the presentation goes on, or alternatively, raise your hand at the end of the presentation and we'll prompt you to unmute yourself. So without further ado, I will hand the floor over to Madam Esther. Esther?
Thank you, Ashley. Is it okay with the sound? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good morning to Yang Bhaya Medan, our Group Chief Executive Officer, members of management team from Bintulu Port Holdings Group, and welcome to all fund managers and analysts. I'm Esther Lu from Bintulu Port Group Corporate Planning and Development. I will present on the business overview, which include the quick facts highlights, business snapshots, diversified cargo throughput, and vessel call. Next slide.
Excellent.
So these are some of the quick facts about Bintulu Port Holdings Group. Bintulu Port is held as the largest LNG export terminal in East Asia. Being the only gateway for LNG export in Malaysia, our port has the capacity to handle 34 million tons of LNG per annum. We receive an average of 500 LNG vessels per year. That's about almost 10 LNG vessels per week. As we commenced our large-scale export of LNG in ISO tank in January last year, Bintulu Port marks the first port to do so in Asia region. This marks a new chapter in the logistic arrangement to make LNG more accessible to our customer across the world and main option for cleaner energy usage. As you can see, other than LNG sector, we have achieved major feat in other cargo sector. Our container port, Bintulu International Container Terminal, or BICT, is the biggest container port in East Malaysia and Borneo Island, with productivity that is comparable with the best in the industry and other renowned port. BICT has the most intensive shipping connectivity compared to other ports in East Malaysia, with shipping services covering our coastal trade, West Malaysia, ASEAN, and the intra-Asia trade. For palm oil, the group through Biport Bunkers Sdn Berhad, BBSB, remain the main export outlet of palm oil products in Sarawak, with 91% market share and the largest exporting terminal in Malaysia, which we handle about 24% of Malaysian palm oil export, with 3.76 million tonnes handled in 2021. We are the third biggest port in Malaysia after Port Klang and BTP, Port of Tanjung Lepas, in terms of tonnage. Last year, we handled 47.17 million tonnes of cargo, with an operating revenue of RM 728.39 million in 2021. On the right of the slide, the group provided after-tax to RM 363.19 million from RM 93.30 million recorded in the previous year. The dividend payout ratio has been maintained at 40 to 50 levels from year 2019. Our net cash position, assuming full repayment of debt, is RM 134 million as at Q2 2022. I will now move to the next slide. This slide provides an overview of our key business segments, which are our port operations and bulking services. Bintulu Port Holdings Berhad is an investment holding company listed on Bursa Malaysia. Our subsidiaries, Bintulu Port Sdn Berhad and Samalaju Industrial Port Sdn Berhad, are engaged in provision of port services, which include our marine services, cargo handling, storage, stevedoring, supply-based services, bunkering, while our other subsidiary, Biport Bunkers Sdn Berhad, specializes in the provision of bulking installation services. Bintulu Port Group manages and operates two major deep-sea ports in East Malaysia. We serve a wide range of customers from the oil and gas industries, shipping lines, Samalaju Industrial Parks investor, palm oil refineries, and other industries. Our total cargo capacity now is at 93 million tonnes per annum, with the current utilization rate of 50.7%. Our current container capacity is about 500,000 TEUs, with the current utilization rate of 71.3%. For Biport Bunkers Sdn Berhad capacity, our storage capacity stands at 154,600 metric tons and have a total of 17 export pipelines. Next slide, please. So this slide, as you can see now, we are multi-purpose ports that handle a wide range variety of cargo. And here are our top 5 cargos from the first half of 2021 and first half of 2022. In terms of tonnage contribution, the top 3 cargos are LNG, containerized cargo, and Samalaju cargos. This slide is about our growing vessel core quarter to quarter and first half 2021 and first half 2022, or Bintulu Port Sdn Bhd and Samalaju Port Sdn Bhd. As you can see from the slide, BPSB vessel core has witnessed a 12.8% increase for the first half of 2022. Samalaju International Port vessel core has been steadily growing, registering a 31.7% increase on quarter and 41% increase on a year-on-year basis. Both BPSB and Samalaju Port vessel core have improved due to the global economic recovery in the logistic supply chain. With that, I have overall covered the business overview presentation of today. And now I would like to pass the floor to Madam Diana, our Group Chief Financial Officer, for the presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, Leslie, managers and analysts. So I'll be presenting the financial review for Q2 as well as first half of the year. So the slide here shows the revenue from our port operation, which is the leading contributor to the group's operating revenue. So from here, we normally segment our revenue according to the activities, which is port operation as well as bulking operation. So you can see on the slide there, for the first half 2021, we recorded a revenue of 366.9 million against 392.3 million in first half 2022. So you can see that there's an increase in the operating revenue for this first half of 2022. Okay, and next. So the next slide, it shows the growing cargo throughput from SIPSB. So just now I had mentioned the revenue from the port operation as well as the bulking operation. And now this shows the revenue by cargo type, which is handled at the Bintulu Port Group. So we predominantly, the revenue from LNG still remains the leading contributor to group's operating revenue. As you can see there, in first half 2022, the revenue from LNG contributed 49.2%. And you can see that the contribution from Samalaju is 20.7%. So this shows that Samalaju has increased from 17.8% to 20.7%. And the reliance on LNG has reduced, from 52.7% last year to 49.2%. So notwithstanding LNG cargo being the leading contributor, we see that there is progressive growing trend in Samalaju cargos year on year. Okay, next slide. This shows the operating revenue for comparison last full year 2020-2021, quarter 2021-2022, as well as first half of the year 2021 and first half 2022. So from the quarter-on-quarter review, we see that there is growth of by 6.6% in Q2 to 194.2 million. And if we look at the first half year-on-year, operating revenue is expanded 6.9% for the first half 2022 to 392.3%. So as mentioned by Esther earlier on, the increase in this operating revenue is due to the overall increase in the throughput handle, okay, from to 24.9 metric tons. So there is a marked increase in cargo handle from SIPSB. Looking at the EBITDA of the group, EBITDA quarter year-on-year, it recorded a marginal decrease of 3.6% in Q2 2022. Overall, it expanded 5.5% to 8.2 million. So the main reasons for our EBITDA here, there is fuel cost, which is higher compared to the previous quarter, and due to the increased activities during this first half of the year, there is increase in our service contracts expenses too. Okay, so next slide. This slide shows how strong our earnings growth is. The after-tax profit, you can see that the first half of the year, after-tax profit of 42.2% growth. So this is contributed by the increase in revenue earlier on that I mentioned. So we have an improved PAT from first half 2021 to first half 2022. And the next slide, this slide, it shows how we manage our balance sheet. Okay, so our balance sheet management, we have been prudent in managing this. So you can see financial year 2019 to 2020 to year 2020, the group has been in net debt position. So the board and the management, we have been taking proactive steps in reducing this net debt position through progressively building up our cash reserve, which result in the reversal of a net cash position in financial year 2021. So correspondingly, the group similarly registered a net cash position as at June 2022 of 133.7 million ringgit. So the next slide shows our key takeaways today. Okay, we have identified 3 earnings categories that would spur the group earnings moving forward. The first one would be tied to new investors expansion plans in SIPSB, which would directly correlate with our SIPSB throughput growth. The announced expansion so far are as follows. MPAS Phase 1 full commercialization slated in Q4 2022. M Holdings has plans to add 2 new manganese alloy furnaces, increasing its total plant output. And Wenan Steel, which is setting up a steel plant with targeted commissioning in 2024. The second earnings catalyst, we also have future expansion. In addition, at Samalaju, we have also future expansion for our undeveloped land bank at SIPSB, catering for other synergistic industries. The second identified catalyst would stem from the resilient LNG demand. We believe LNG isotank exports shall spur the group's growth in container volumes through the recent maiden call of the world's largest and first dual fuel LNG isotank carrier. So the this bodes well for us as China, which is one of the group's largest export market, intends to achieve a net zero carbon emission target. Lastly, our last identified catalyst would stem from our imminent port renewal concession for BPSB, which is targeted to be completed in Q4 2022. There could be potentially a step up in tariff rates. For context, the current tariff at BPSB okay. Anyway, there is a potential step up in tariff rates upon renewal of the port concession in BPSB. Okay. And this slide shows our ESG initiatives. The group has embarked on various ESG initiatives since 2019. On the environment aspects, the group targets to become a carbon neutral port in the future through its various ongoing green port initiatives. To date, the group has managed to achieve commendable improvements via a 15% reduction in carbon emissions since 2019. These initiatives include renewable energy project involving solar panel project with Petronas, installation LED type lighting, preliminary study on onshore power supply at BICT, installation of solar power in Samalaju Port. And on the social activities, we have carried out various socially impactful CSR programs based on 3Ps concept, people, planet, and profits, which are predicated on the below principles serving the community, education, and community health. And lastly, on the governance front, we have established a governance, risk, and compliance culture spearheaded by group internal audit for group-wide implementation. We have also established an ERM framework adoption in group-wide operations and various other frameworks such as Code of Business Ethics, Anti-Bribery and Corruption, strict to no-give policy. Next slide. Slide on our key takeaways in relation to investment merits. We believe these are our 3 investment merits, namely our leading position as port operator in East Malaysia, the group's strong financial fundamentals, and earnings visibility and growth. This is reflective in our consistent dividends to shareholders with an average payout ratio of 40 to 50% since 2019, consistent ROE returns, our net cash position, and our sustainable profits, earnings profile from the LNG segment as it is backed by long-term contracts. In terms of earnings growth, SIPSB is expected to spur future earnings growth through the expansion in investment activities by SIP investors. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Diana. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our Q&A session. So gently be reminded that if you have any questions, you can share the questions with us via the chat function, or alternatively, you can also raise your hand and we'll prompt you to unmute yourself. The floor is now open. Do we have any questions from the floor?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Hi, Ahmad here from Nomura. I used to cover Bintulu Port back in the days, I don't know, 2007 all the way until probably 2012 or 2013. Um, uh, just some concerns on my side with regards to the stock is the liquidity. May I know what are you doing to address that?
On the stock liquidity, as you can see, our shareholders is very institutionalized. So that's why it's very thinly traded. So our shareholders made up of the Sarawak state government, which is almost 40%. Petronas is 28%. And you have the rest like EPF, Co-op, and PNB. So since it's very institutionalized, it's rather it's not that actively traded in the market.
Yeah, I know, but are you putting in any effort? I don't know, probably issue new shares or get Petronas to pare down or something. Yeah, I just want to know because I mean it's hardly traded at all. How even for a retail investor who wants to buy the stock will probably have difficulty in buying.
It's not what should to ask. I cannot tell this. Okay, this is Medan here, Group CEO. I think I'm aware of this question or concern you raised. I think this is something that the group need to look at and explore how to, if you want the liquidity in the marketplace. But on your suggestion just now that maybe you can convince Petronas to go down or reduce, I think this is beyond us. And if you to put myself in their shoe, I mean, the port is actually part of the fundamental part of the value chain. So it's the only eligible spot for them, and I think it's for to them we can understand where they're coming from.
Okay. All right. Okay, second question is regards to the LNG side of things. What is the current term in terms of the berthing rates? I mean, back then when I was covering, you guys were fetching about like about 750,000 ringgit per berth or something like that, if I can recall my numbers correctly. But I guess that has come down. Or is it still that high? And is there contracts to these berthing rates? And how often is it renewed?
On energy berthing rates, I think the tariff is still the same, and whether it's high or low, I think it's a matter of for me, it's a matter of perception of timing. And if you look at probably the rates now in other ports, and it would have increased from where it started. So, of course, we are aware of that, and so far no decision been made to change the tariff. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think what else? What else do I want to ask? For your Samalaju port, right? I guess that's where most of the earnings upside is coming from. What is can you remind me what is the term of the utilization or lease payments to the do you pay it to Bintulu Port Authority or is there a Samalaju Port Authority as well? And yeah, I just want to know what are the payment terms. Is there any cost escalation or whatnot?
On Samalaju Industrial Port, the regulator is Samalaju Port Authority. It's not Bintulu Port Authority. So they pay the lease period at Samalaju is for 40 years with an option to extend 20 years. And the lease payment is only land lease, and which started from June 2017 at 4.5 million and is to be escalated 10% every 5 years. And
Okay.
anything
Please pay to the
Yes, it's you are correct, madam.
you pakai mic?
Yeah,
Oh.
you are correct. Those are the lease arrangement with the Samalaju Port Authority. And I think you also asked about the utilization, right, Ahmad?
No, I didn't ask, but yeah, you can mention about specifically on Samalaju.
Yeah. Cool. So currently the utilizations for Samalaju Port in terms of the cargo throughput and our capacity is about 44%. Yeah, 44%. So this year we are anticipating to get around 52 to 54%. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Since there are no questions on the floor yet. Oh yeah, there's someone. Okay. I think there's someone that just asked a question. Okay, probably you can answer that first before I jump in again.
Yeah, sure. I'll just read out from the chat. It seems that Samalaju is gathering speed and accelerating at much speed than current port. So can we get a confirmation when Samalaju can turn to be the leading revenue contributor?
The leading revenue contributor would still be MLN. It would still be LNG, but Samalaju, it will gradually increase, but we still think that LNG would still be the leading contributor.
for the moment.
Yeah, for the moment.
Yeah. I think I would like to add, I mean, since the ending of the pandemic phase, we all know that this has led to recovery of economic and business activities worldwide. And of course, for the two ports, we can see that the cargo and activity shipping costs on the rise, increasing. And as mentioned by Pontiana just now, and even Esther, we are seeing growth in industries in the Samalaju Industrial Park, which is served by our subsidiary Samalaju Industrial Ports in Berhad, and one of our 3 subsidiaries. And that is an encouraging sign, you know, if the existing operators starts to increase their production capabilities, and that is the augurs well for our port. At the same time, we know that the state is aggressively marketing the rest of the still available land in the Samalaju Industrial Port. So we're hopeful that all these efforts will give opportunity for more investors to come in. And of course, we will be the ones who will be benefiting from at least growth in with more industries in Samalaju Industrial Port as well. So we are confident that in the medium long term, the growth in Samalaju could only rise, inshallah. Thank you.
Hi, if I could squeeze in a few questions. Nurdini here from PNB. Can you share a bit what the impacts was for your LNG throughput from the ongoing Russian-Ukraine war, if any?
So far, no impact.
So far, no impact.
Yeah, no, morning. So far we do not see any impact in terms of LNG volume export because Petronas do have contracts, permanent contract with their customer. And this from record, we are still handling the amount of LNG export as what we projected so far.
I think to add to that, then, we all know that the LNG prices more or less busting the ceiling because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the shortage of gas in Europe. So I think the demand for LNG, I think, will be very bullish for the near to maybe medium term. It's not easy to get the pipeline supply back to Europe. And that means the demand side, there will be pull. So I think if you were Petronas, I guess you will try to export as much as you have or whatever you can produce. So that's why we are so far not seen any downward reduction in the volume. And as I said, if I were them, I will export everything that I can produce to take advantage of the good price like he is fetching in the world market. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dato'. Nordini, does that answer your question? Okay. Do we have any more questions from the floor?
Yeah, sorry, can I also ask about the LNG ISO tank carriers? Do you have the number that how many tanks were delivered this year versus last year? I think it might have been mentioned, but I might miss that.
We have just started export LNG ISO tank last year. And this year, we
The launch was 440.
we have handled 22,000.
Yeah, going.
Yeah. For next year, we are anticipating about 22,000 TEUs. Last year, we handled about 8,000 TEUs for a start. So moving forward, like what Dato' Medan mentioned about LNG market for the future, we are looking at bulk LNG export as well as LNG ISO tank export having a very good potential in the future.
Maybe if I can add for better appreciation of what's happening here. So in LNG business, traditionally they sell it in the long form. They put this huge LNG tankers, which we heard just now about every 2 days we have about 3 LNG tankers calling in Bintulu port. So that is the traditional way of selling, transporting LNG. So what has happened is, or what we have introduced at Bintulu port is to give Petronas an option to sell or transport their LNG, the molecule, in a break-bulk form. And the strategic impact of this is they will be able to reach markets that maybe before this they can't. And by definition, LNG sale can only go to certain points. Namely, they go to LNG importing terminals, let's say in China. And from there, it goes to pipelines all the way to wherever the customers are. But definitely there are certain parts of the country that's not accessed by pipelines. And I'm sure this untapped market is enormous. By having ISO tanks or LNG sales by ISO tank, Petronas would be the first LNG producer in the world to be able to access is either to untapped or unreachable market. And that is enormous. Okay, so we are, as the people who handle the cargo, ISO tanks and swell pump, very excited about the prospect for them. It's good for the country as well. And they have set a precedent, and we are very pleased to be part of this game. Thank you.
Thank you. Just another question from me. What are your initiatives in controlling the fuel costs? And are you doing any sort of fuel hedging? Thank you.
We are not doing any fuel hedging. So because now it is a requirement for us that our vessel, the fuel, are to use Euro 5.
Euro 5.
So that's why it's rather expensive if you compare to the normal diesel. So Petronas is not supplying any normal diesel to our vessel anymore. So that's the reason for the big hike in the fuel costs this year.
Of course, it's the Group CEO again, Madam. So of course, on the operational level, we asked our marine people to be on a high alert to make sure that their operations are well planned and so on, to kind of to ensure that they don't burn too much fuel. It's too expensive to burn. But on a long-term basis, we are looking at a strategy where, like for the onshore equipment we use, we may have to either we have dual fuel, or we may need to convert some of this equipment to electricity. It's good for green, the green agenda, and also for times like this when fuel oil or when oil, diesel, and so on spikes to a level that's very expensive. Hopefully, the electricity rates doesn't jump or catch up too fast. So that's I think going forward, that's something that we need to look at. And we'll do it in a structured way. We phase it out. You strike the right balance between the two different modes of firing your equipment and so on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dato. I think we have a question from the chat as well. The growth of Samar Laju is at a much faster pace than Bintulu's stable contribution. So can you share more development on Samar Laju's prospective growth?
Okay. Looking at the earning catalyst side, going back to the presentation that we shared with you. So basically for Samar Laju, we are looking at the current investors that are operating at Samalaju Industrial Park, which is about, we have 6 now operating there. So the growth will come from the ramping up of their production capacity. So we are anticipating this going to happen this year and in the next couple of years. And recently we have these long anticipated investors, Malaysian Phosphate Additive MPAs, which have start their phase 1 transfer of the plant recently, 2 weeks ago. And we also receive news that is need to understand that one of the investors, OM, where they plan to add in another furnace to their production line. So this will sort of increase their total plant output from the current output. And like what the group CEO mentioned just now, the state is pursuing aggressively to market the land at Samalaju Industrial Park to the potential investors. So we are anticipating within this next 5 years there'll be more investors coming in to set up activities in the park, particularly for the steel industries. So all this combined together, plus we also have ample land at the port, within the port, to be developed into storage areas and related logistic activities that will spur the development and earning growth for Samalaju Industrial Park. Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you so much for that. Maybe we have enough time to take one last question. Does anybody want to raise another question?
Sorry, just a quick one. For Samalaju, do you have a also have a revenue share, like RM1 per TEU that you pay to the Samalaju Port Authority as well?
Only when we reach the threshold of 20 million ton, then we will pay ringgit to the Samalaju Port Authority. So at the moment, we have not reached that threshold.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then also, I believe there's a tax holiday at the moment for Samalaju Port. Can you remind us how long is that for?
Yeah, because for Samalaju Port, we have this investment tax allowance. It has no time limit, so we can still carry forward that investment tax allowance. So at the moment, we have ample capital allowance to be utilized to set off any taxable profits. So we have not touched the investment tax allowance yet.
All right. Okay. All right. What else? Okay. And then also lastly, another one. Can you remind me the birth death of the Samalaju Port? Yeah, I just trying to get what's the largest vessel size you can actually accommodate there.
Yeah, we have the deepest depth alongside is minus 12.5. So we can handle the biggest is 50,000 deadweight ton vessels.
50,000 deadweight ton. Can you convert that in TEU?
Okay. Those 50,000 deadweight ton vessel is a dry bulk vessel. Okay. if you want to convert to TEUs, actually at the moment,
It's postponed.
actually at the moment for TEUs, those are container vessels. So for container vessels, it's a post-Panamax vessels. Yeah. So if you convert that to TEUs, if we can handle at 12.5 meter berth, that is about 2,000 to 3,000 TEUs vessel.
All right. Okay. All right. That's all from my side. Thank you. And yeah, finally good to meet you virtually and for the first time after so many years, almost a decade, I guess. Well, I usually go to Bintulu every year, actually, back when I was in OSK many years ago.
Yeah.
With
Yes.
Oyster.
We welcome you.
So now you're with Nomura, is it?
Yeah, with Nomura.
You are most welcome to Bintulu.
Yeah, just let us know when you come.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. The rest,
Thank you
set for
so
the rest.
much.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for all your inquiries. Actually, this briefing is held in conjunction with actually Bursa Malaysia. So do let us know if you have any inquiries. Reach out to us at Asante. We are partnering up with Bursa to reach out to companies that you have not met for a long time. So please feel free to reach out to us for further questions or if you need further information. So once again, thank you very much for joining us today. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for hosting.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks.